Hey everybody. So last time we chose a word of the week, two popped out of the bag, which is an unusual occurrence and I always go with the flow. And the two words were compassion and risk. And the way I interpreted them was to put ourselves out there for someone, to show up for someone. When you're moved with compassion, sometimes you're actually taking quite a risk. Sometimes you're going against everybody else's judgment. Sometimes you are following an unction that is otherworldly to put yourself out there and risk your neck for someone else. And sometimes it's not something huge, it's just a kind word. You sort of feel that prompting to recognize someone, even if it's a stranger, and you say it and it makes all the difference in the world. And that little act of compassion and that risk just shifts the day for someone. And then there are big things. I think of the big seminal moments in my life when someone completely unexpected, unsolicited showed up for me. Two come to mind right away. When I was in my 20s, and I'm not proud to say this, but I lost my license for a DUI. DUI was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm pretty sure it saved my life. I was in my 20s. I was devastated. And aside from, all the ramifications, financially, personally, emotionally, practically, I couldn't get to work every day for the 3 months that I lost my license. There was an Uber back then, and where I was in the suburbs, there weren't taxis, and you certainly couldn't walk or ride a bike, and I didn't know what to do. And unsolicited, and I will never forget her name, Kathleen Martin, who was a colleague, said, "I'll pick you up every day and I'll take you to work." I don't know if I ever thanked her enough, and I don't know if words could ever thank her enough for meeting the need for me back then when I was stranded. She could have judged me and said, "Well, it's your fault for drinking and driving." And it was my fault. But good people are quite adept at beating themselves up when they screw up. They don't need you to help them do that. She lent a helping hand, never asked for anything in return. Compassion and risk. She wasn't even someone I considered a close friend. And yet she came through for me like the closest of friends. I remember when I was embarking on my new life just a couple years ago, and I needed to find an apartment, an attorney, movers, and I was all by myself down here in Florida. And a dear friend said, "What do you need?" And they put my best friend on a plane to come down here and help me handle all the details. Oh, and she delivered a personal check from that person to help me pay for bills that I just didn't know how I was going to pay. I never asked for the help, but this person had compassion on me and took a risk. Actually, there were two of them, and you know who you are if you're watching. I'll never be able to thank you for that enough. These are the moments that can make or break a life, that can be a tipping point from despair to hope. And I hope that whenever we are moved, we don't talk ourselves out of that compassion, and we will take a risk for someone else. Paying it forward is a joy. So, what are the words that we can follow that double whammy up with? I go back into my new bag that my Dina gave me, and I'm saying a prayer for all of us, and I'm asking for a word, unless you want to give me two or three, universe. Okay, I'm not used to digging into this bag because it's new, and the cards are laminated. And the word for the next 2 weeks, which actually marks my 56th birthday, is peace. You know, sometimes what immediately comes to mind is sometimes turmoil precedes peace, and it's necessary turmoil. Sometimes you need to upend your life in order to get to that place of peace. When my marriage ended, I wasn't looking for romance or excitement. I just wanted peace. I wanted a place where there weren't going to be arguments all the time and everything wasn't going to be a battle or a fight. And getting from there to here involved a lot of turmoil and chaos. But I knew the end goal was going to be peace. And here's the thing, you can't look for peace in all the external trappings of life, because not everybody's going to always line up with your vision of how life should be. Yes, you do get to choose who you spend time with. And if you're spending time with people that are energy vampires, who suck the life out of you and who create chaos and drama wherever they go, I say run, Forrest, run. But the greatest peace, and the one you can count on, is the one inside of your soul. Are you in alignment, body, soul, and spirit? Are you being true to yourself? Are you acknowledging your feelings as your internal emotional guidance system? Are you at peace with yourself? Because if you're not at peace with yourself, you'll never find peace with anybody else or in any scenario. And sometimes that takes real honest questions and an honest look. Are you faking it? I know I did for a long time. And you can tell, I see pictures of myself from like 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm always smiling because I'm always camera ready. But it's forced. Because I was trying to hide the turmoil that was in my heart. And sometimes we just barrel through. We just want to get through life so that we don't stop to check ourselves. And I encourage all of us, your feelings aren't right or wrong. My dear friend Roseanne always says that. They're just the way you feel. Acknowledge those feelings. Sift and sort through them. See where there's misalignment or you're out of alignment, body, soul, and spirit. Are you running and never taking a break? Then your body is out of whack. You're not paying attention to your feelings, then your soul is out of whack. And your spirit, your essence, your conscience, do you need to make things right with someone? Do you need to make things right with yourself? If you are hating on yourself, you are not in peace. I say the great journey is always about loving yourself first, because you'll never be able to love anybody else until you can love yourself. I will always beat on that drum beat. Peace. Oh, peace is so valuable. Peace is the thing that lets you walk through this life with grace. Peace. I wish peace for all of us. Shalom. And I look forward to finding and mining new truths related to this beautiful word as I bless all of us with a blessing of peace for the next 2 weeks.